So
to
my
the
fault.
second link, and now I'm here.
My fault. My fault. I should always give the Zoom link first, and
Yes.
then I should give the other details, because I just
No
feel that
problem.
no, I just actually feel, which is wrong on my part. I actually feel that people read my emails and my posts. I know they
Yes.
don't. So I'm going to get over this. I'm now going to give very simple posts. Tuck, tuck, tuck. That's it.
That is it.
Yeah. So Loise,
Yes.
thank you very much. Am I
Thank
pronouncing
you.
it correct? Loise, is it okay?
It's Lois, but
Loise,
most
Loise.
people say Louise. It's good. It's okay.
No, no, Loise is okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Loise, for being part of the symposium.
Thank you.
And how it's going to work is you're going to tell us about yourself. You're going to tell us about the symposium, if you've seen some sessions, and then we'll go into colonization, decolonization, and mediation. And
Mhm.
between that, I will, of course, put up my website and some picture of all the speakers. So please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vikram. It's an honor to be here, in fact, in this platform. So thank you for the opportunity again. To start with, my name is Loise Waruingi from Kenya, located in Nairobi city. So as a person, I am a certified professional mediator and a lawyer by profession. And my mediation journey began way back when I remember I wanted to do mediation, but I was in a job. So with when you're working, it's very hard for you to undergo the training. So I remember in 2021 at the beginning, so I resigned from that job. Now I had all the time to do what I wanted to do, which was mediation. So I undertook the training. You know, something funny, when you have the job, you have a lot of work and no time to do the training. Yeah? So you have money, but no time. So after I resigned, I just had the small savings that I had, but with a lot of time. So I didn't have enough money to do mediation. So I started collecting. So I started a business. I had some chicken. So I sold them. In fact, I was telling a client, I have my law degree, yes, but I want to pursue this mediation. I think I have had interest and it's something I want to do. So the client asked me, how much is the fee? And I told her the amount, and she bought chicken she did not need. She did not need because I had to store them for her just to give me that amount to raise. So once I was able to get enough money to collect here and there, then the amount that I had managed was 5,000 our Kenyan currency, less. So I told my husband, this is what I've been able to accumulate. So he said, wow, let me top up. And he topped up and I was able to do the course. And I was really happy. So I set the ground running. Here in Kenya, once I did the training, I have some friends who have a law firm. So they gave me some space. They told me, once you're done with your training, you come. You can be seeing clients from our office. You can be doing whatever you want to do, but you have a physical address. You come and do your thing. So I printed out my cards. I was ready. I set the ground running. But coming to the ground now, I used to go there and wait for clients. And none will come. 1 month goes, 2 months. Then I realized there's something wrong. Either people don't know what this is, or I'm doing the wrong thing. So I went back to the ground, and now I started talking to people. And I got to know people don't know about mediation. People don't even think it's really something that is really legal of value. They just, how will it help me as a person? So now that is how I started my journey. It came from now a business. Now I started a campaign for raising awareness. I started at our local police station where I went to the head of the police and I was able to, in fact, her first question was, now how will mediation help me in the police force? I was like, now this, this is really, if the head of the police station does not know mediation, then there's a problem. So I took it up with her. I taught her. I educated. In fact, I told her, now you have come to the right place. So I gave her everything I knew about mediation. And by the time I was leaving there, she was like, hey, it's a good thing. Just leave me your card. Leave me your card. I think it's a good idea. It's a good thing you're doing. So I kept going. It was a door-to-door campaign in my town. It's Kitengela town. So I've been doing door-to-door campaigns. So some of my friends have been seeing what I've been doing, and they, from the savings that I had. So, you know, when you have savings, they just deplete. So there's a time you don't have anything much. So now my friends started, they helped me do promotional videos for free. In fact, most of the videos I have, they're done for free by people who have seen what I'm doing and they think it's a good thing and they want to encourage more people to know about mediation. So basically, that is what I'm doing. That is my mediation journey.
That's a very interesting story, Loise. I might get the pronunciation wrong. Please correct me whenever I get it wrong. Loise. Because actually, all the things that you have said are the things I'm fighting against. One, training. I'm just saying that this whole concept of training, certification is a colonization of mediation. So that I'm fighting against, which we'll discuss as we go along in this thing. About the physical space, obviously we've gone online, but still I'm saying mediate under a tree. I'm saying, come, everyone says mediation table, mediation room. I'm saying mediation tree. Look, we have roots in it, which obviously we'll again discuss as we go along on this. So I think this whole concept that people don't know about mediation, the point is they know about it because of the fact it's already always being done. But do not think that it is a process. First, does it work? Because again, colonization, dispute resolution happens in courts and lawyers do it. So again, a colonization thing we have to totally get over. So this symposium, the idea being, let's discuss these issues because there are people like you who have the mediator mindset and they're all there. They're all there. But the only thing is because of colonization, moved it towards this whole mindset that of, like I said, courts and lawyers. So obviously we have to move. I mean, I don't know whether you saw sessions of the last symposium, Indigenous Peoples and Mediation. There were people from Kenya in that. So I think that it's all there. It's all there. It's just that we have to just connect it. But the chicken story is very interesting. Chicken story is interesting. I'll tell you why. Because Cloke, I don't know whether you've heard about him. He's one of the well-known mediators in the world, and he's for me the face of my dispute resolution revolution. And he obviously will give the closing address of this symposium, give the inaugural address of the last one, and he's been on my shows and all. There's a show that I have called Evolution of a Mediator. The idea being exactly this, that so much goes into that person being that mediator, that mindset, how it develops everything. So he tells us about how he started off on a chicken ranch and how he was selling chicken and eggs. So I'm just saying, and then later in the show, other people came. There was some chicken story they had. So I just said there's a chicken connection somewhere.
With mediators.
Exactly. So that was really interesting. But what I'm going to do is just a minute. What I'll do is I'll just put up the thing of the speakers that we have in the symposium. And of course, the closing session is on. Of course, the date is wrong here. This is the last symposium which I'm playing around with. So don't go by that. I'm going to correct that. But this is what we have here. So, I mean, we've got. I'm not saying that this is representative enough of the world. Not, but we'll. I mean, the next year I want it to be much bigger. Let's get it from every corner. This was just let's start with a conversation, so we kind of people also know they have a base to look at and then bring it. So we have Canada, Ireland, Ecuador, Cameroon, Nigeria, Philippines, UK, Australia, of course, Malaysia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Canada. There are a lot of people. This person, I don't know. I don't know which country she's from. Loise, how do I pronounce? So we have Kenya here. So we have the US and India and Turkey and Netherlands and Vietnam. So, I mean, it's spread out across the world, but still we need lots of more voices there. And the other thing I would just want to put down that mediatorvikram.com, just go there. You'll find the the schedule of the symposium under shows and events. Read up the other thing. Of course, Lois, you also read the word mediation circle, which of course you have to develop and be part of. So in this section, you find the schedule of the symposium, which has the YouTube links to recordings. And of course, like I said about Ken Cloke, we have all the things he's come on. So there's lots of information there, which I will not waste your time with. Let's get into the topic, Lois. Colonization, decolonization, and mediation. So please.
Okay. So I have been doing the research on the topic of colonization, decolonization, and mediation. So what I have got so far in this is the pre-colonial era. The pre-colonial era in most communities in Kenya, like for the Kikuyu, let me say, there are around 42 tribes in Kenya. And now most of them, they had a council of elders who dealt with the disputes that were raised. Some, like for the Kikuyu, I wanted to say for the Kikuyu, they had clans. So if a dispute started from the family, it will go to the clan will handle. If it was beyond the clan, then the council of elders will handle it. So most of what the council of elders did was mediation. They practiced mediation, but also arbitration came out strongly, because now when it was found that you were the one who did this and this, they would impose fines and punishments on you. So alternative dispute resolution started before the pre-colonial era. And so what colonization came to do is, in fact, take whatever was there. It was traditional. So everything looked like these guys, they don't know what they're doing. So the court system is the better system, better educated person. They brought a person who is educated, person who the society perceives as having great experience to be able to handle those disputes. And maybe to some extent, they disregarded what was there before, such that people focus so much on litigation as opposed to the alternative dispute that was there in the pre-colonial era. So as litigation has progressed, people have become intertwined with litigation. That's why I'm telling you right now, it is hard for you to tell somebody, it is hard to bring back the mindset that this thing can be solved out of court, this dispute can be solved out of court, because now the colonialists brought in this mindset that nothing can be solved out of court. So now in decolonization, we are trying to bring back the mentality that you do not necessarily have to go to court. We can solve this matter out of court using mediation. And mediation has always worked. And you give reference to our forefathers who used the same method to settle the conflict. But what I'm saying, to some extent, is because some communities, there's a heavy reliance on this council of elders still up to date. Because, in our zones, they're usually tribal conflicts. So even the government goes to talk to those community elders to bring their people to sit down and sort whatever it is they're worrying about. So in as much as there's over-reliance of litigation, there's still some aspect the government recognizes that it has to go back to the root, that litigation will not work for that particular matter, that it needs to sit with the council. It needs to, in fact, there's still council of elders up to now. And they usually they become very popular during the election period, they usually, to endorse a particular candidate. So if, let's say you're from the Maasai community, the Council of Elders will endorse their candidate, who will be seen as the strongest candidate. If you're from this community, the Kikuyu, the Council of Elders for that tribe will endorse their person. So you see, it's a system that is still there, but it is not used as effectively as it was in the pre-colonial era. Yes.
I mean, you want me to come in? I'll come in. Basically, faith and grace in the last symposium were from the are from the Kikuyu. And now only thing what we have to decide is, are we going to say, because I asked Faith, she said you can use tribe or community. You say Kikuyu clan. Some people will say Kikuyu people. So what would you think is the correct way that we should address the people?
As Kikuyu, Kikuyus are identified in forms of clans. That is their identification, as opposed to, there's the Kikuyu tribe, but within the tribe, there's the clans.
Okay.
The clans come from a history of, I can give you that history, like Gikuyu and Mombi, they had 9 daughters. These 9 daughters, so each clan is named according to the 9 daughters. So in that Kikuyu umbrella, under that Kikuyu umbrella, the clans, they're named according to those daughters. So that is how they identify in forms of clans.
So
but you can, yeah.
On the larger level, if we say Kikuyu tribe, it's the larger thing. That's okay. In that, then specifically, people will talk about the clan. So that's a subdivision.
And then there are Kikuyus from there are Kikuyus from different regions. There's Kikuyus from Kiambu, there's Kikuyus from Nyeri, there's Kikuyus from different regions. So you'll be asked, you Kikuyu from, where are you from? You say, I'm Kikuyu. From where? Then you say where you're from. Yeah. So the name gives you the clan.
Okay.
But the issue of clan, as modernization gets in, it has really wiped it off. So that's why I was saying, Vikram, colonization really brought a different mindset so that people are forced to rely heavily on the judicial system, as opposed to a system where people will sit under a tree and maybe address their problem just with the assistance of a third party. That is what was there before. So it's not a new thing. But this system that came to remove that mindset that this is not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to handle your matters in court. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now we need to change that mindset and tell them that this alternative dispute resolution works as long as it is not repugnant to justice and morality. Yeah. It works. And mediation, and you tell them the benefits of mediation. And because they trust their elders in the village, maybe we can train these elders. It's not that they've been doing something wrong, but there are people who have been handling disputes. But and there are people who are trusted by the community. So we just empower them a bit, just a bit, because the community looks up to them and trusts them. These are people who have been resolving. Just empower them a bit so that now, even if they're doing the mediation, they do it without imposing. You know, most of them will want to impose. They're elders. They want to impose rules. But mediation is not about imposing. It will be about maybe getting a situation into a win-win, or looking for ways which the people will resolve their conflicts without necessarily imposing. Yes.
But Loise, did you watch any of the sessions of the last symposium of Faith and Grace, who are from the Kikuyu tribe? Did you watch that, or you did not watch it?
No, I didn't.
How will you find it? The issue is, how will you find it? So basically, you'll have to go to mediatorvikram.com. There you'll find the link to the schedule of the last symposium. And there you will find the YouTube link to their sessions, because I mean, they are from Kikuyu Faith. They're actually working on the ground and bringing out this, I mean, sensitive. Look, let's say there is awareness to be done. The other aspect that you said about imposing, so there is some sensitization to be done, that this is not what you can do on a long-term basis, that people will move away into the court system if you are going to impose. So you have to you have to change your own. I mean, the chiefs and all that have to also change their attitude towards it. But then there was Dorina from the Pokot and Sengwer community. So she also, they've done work on the ground. So have a look at those sessions. I think it's quite interesting. The other thing is that there was a symposium I did last year on mediation in our culture and traditions. So again, I mean, I like to boast about it with 97 speakers from 45 countries there. So there was someone from Kenya who's actually doing a lot of work on the ground on this aspect of course, creating awareness. And of course, in a way, I don't like the word training, but maybe let's just say telling them about mediation. Let me just put it that way, because I mean, if you have the skill, you have the skill. Otherwise, you can tell them about, in a way, on a general level, about how you can handle disputes. But to say training, I think it goes against that whole concept of the person having a skill which is developed over years, their whole experience, all their experiences, their value system they're born into. A lot of factors go into it. So I'm not saying that you can put that there, but that's another discussion which I keep happening. But interestingly, there is support from your constitution. Kenya has been much ahead of other places, because there is what the community settles, let's just say settles between themselves, is actually endorsed by the constitution. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, in fact, Article 159, it endorses traditional dispute resolution and alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, as long as they are not repugnant to justice and morality. That is it. So giving, not because the Constitution has given us, at least it has boosted us. In fact, of late, they have a pilot program, which is called the Court Annexed Mediation Program. And it has been, what is it called? It is being practiced in about 4 different courts right now. And recently I went to a bar bench meeting, and I was very happy because they were saying the 80% of the family disputes in the family courts, they have been resolved through mediation. And it had originally, it was a pilot program, so they were testing it. It was in one court. So now as the time goes by, now they are opening more courts to mediation. So that is really good for mediation in Kenya. So now for the mediators who are in Kenya, it gives them, it empowers them. It really shows that this is a good thing, since the courts have embraced it. Our Kenya Revenue Authority, in fact, I opened their website recently, and they have opened a department for mediation. So Kenya is really embracing mediation, and there's so many mediators. There are people who have papers, but on the ground, there's no use of those papers. I will say that, because let me give you my story again. Once I did the training, and I was looking for a mentor, somebody to work with me, somebody who has been in this field before, somebody who has better experience other than my trainer, because my trainer, other than my training school, I really worked Vikram. I have been working, looking for somebody who is doing full-time mediation. But as of now, I have not found. So in fact, I usually say I went to YouTube, I found you. I found Jerry Sullivan, I found Cloke. So I have been listening to some of the best mediators, I will say. And I have mentored myself into it on the ground. So that is something I would really like to change. And for the people who I was going to seek mentorship, like the organization, like the training schools, they would want some money for you to be given a mentor, something which I did not have, something which a mediator who is starting up does not have capital. So you will want somebody to hold your hand without conditions. That is something which I would like to bring up. I also felt like, you see, in the legal profession, they usually have legal aid. You know, the legal aid program, where they go to people and public service. They shun mediation. Because I volunteered. In fact, I told them I'm coming in a mediator's capacity. This is what I want to do. And they shunned me many times. So you see, it has not been embraced really on the ground. The Constitution is giving it a backing, The judiciary is giving it a backing, but people on the ground are still not embracing it. In fact, the people in the legal profession, I will be the first to embrace such a thing. But I talk to most of them and they're like, no, if this mediation comes, where will our fees? You know, advocates are about fees. They think it's a really good program. And most of the advocates I talk to, they say it's a really good thing. But now that means my fees will go. So in as much as it is a good idea, I think I also need to protect my job, you know. Yeah. So there's that. Our constitution has given it backing. The judiciary is giving it backing. The government parastatals have started giving it backing. So the people on the ground are the ones who should open their arms to it, really, and move away from that system that has been entrenched in our mind that everything needs to be solved in court.
But don't you see a problem there? Because I'm fighting against this. Don't you see a problem that colonization said dispute resolution happens in courts? Then you put up mediation centers in the courts. Again, you're putting in people's mind that everything happens in courts. It hasn't worked. I'm telling you, in relation to mediation and development of mediation and mediators, it hasn't worked. For the courts, very good. Let's take out some matters, because otherwise there will be pressure on us. People will say that you are inefficient, which they are, and they will just in some way ease their work. That's all. They're doing it for that. They have no concern for development of mediation. As soon as you can fight it, the better it is. I'll tell you why. Because mediators in the court system are paid close to nothing. In some courts, they're paid nothing. Okay, they are given this much larger thing. Some people are told, oh, this is a good place for you to practice and you'll get some experience. Some people are sold that concept. The others are sold this concept, you're doing some very good thing for society. Oh, why don't you do it? Why do all the lawyers sitting in the courts do it? Who do all the good things for society? Why do the judges do it? They don't do it. It is the mediator has to function without getting anything. And what is going to happen? People are going to look at mediation as free. And second thing, they're connecting it to the courts. The worst things that are happening to mediation, it hasn't. When you say full-time mediators not there, anywhere in the world you will find handful of people, because it never worked in the US 40, 45 years through the court system. Ask them, dig deeper there. They keep saying it's mediation has not really reached people. They are not using mediation. It's a big issue. As soon as you can fight it, I'm saying mediators should move away from the courts. They should say we will not do it. Legal aid you spoke about. Legal aid is pro bono for people who can't afford something. In that case, mediators who want to give that service to people who can't afford it, totally different area. They are giving it for free. This distinguishing aspect between free and pro bono has to be very clear. People who can afford it, why are they not paying? And why should they not pay what the market should decide, the way mediators should decide? Why is it in the court system the same amount? I'm saying today courts are supposed to look at discrimination. This discrimination which is happening in the court system, where a lawyer who's a litigating lawyer asks for whatever fees they want, arbitrator asks for whatever fees they want, mediator, no, you should give it free. I'm saying today, if they really want to look at people and their dispute resolution, everyone gets the same. Litigating lawyer, arbitrator, mediator gets the same amount. The courts will close down. The lawyers will be on the streets. They will not let the courts function, because if you pay them as much as the mediator gets, they're not going to function. It's just that it is for people who have the passion, they have the mindset. Because look, that is a mindset, because you want to help people to resolve. You're looking at their interest. You're not looking at fees. You really want to do that. But at the end of the day, you need livelihood. People need livelihood. The other thing is mediation has to develop. I'm telling you, giving you this aspect, because after looking at things around the world, this is what comes up. Mediation in the court system is a different process. It is, look, courts will take that much time. This is going to be the cost. So you better off settling. That's not mediation. That's you're putting a gun on someone's head and saying, settle. What will the person go back with? I had to settle because obviously the court take that much time. It's so expensive. So I settled. Won't go back happy. So they will not go and promote mediation. Mediation is a different process. People want to sit together, want to understand each other. They want to work together for whatever reason, or maybe they'll have their reasons to work together. That is the mediation we need to promote, which the court system is going to destroy. It is going to put a word in people's mouth, which today we still, if we connect it to the traditional system where mediation is not a word they use, connected to a word they use, and connect them to the process, we might be able to develop it. The moment we try to do this, which is happening, we are going to destroy mediation. The way I'm talking about mediation, we're going to finish off the concept of mediators having work, and people like you who have the passion are going to be conflicted because you want to do mediation, but it won't develop. You won't get anything out of it. So you look at other things to do. So a good person like you who can actually help people resolve disputes will move away from mediation, which is what is happening in the court system. The example has been given in the last symposium by someone in the US, how he was used by lawyers in the court system. He went there thinking lawyers will recognize him because there the lawyers control mediation. That's the best part. They control mediation also. They decide who will be the mediator. So what was happening is he wanted to be recognized by lawyers, so he was giving it for free. Lawyers used him for free. They were getting handsome fees in mediations. This person was not getting anything. So he told the lawyers, why don't you use me for private work? He says, why should we use for private work? You have already said you want to do it for free. Did not get work there. So he moved out of the court system. Today he's functioning as a full-time mediator in the US. Again, I said it's a rare thing. He's doing that. So there are a lot of issues connected to this. And I'm just saying, why should us, for the convenience of courts, give something for free, which is going to demean and diminish the value of mediators and mediation people's mind? So I'm very clear about it. The other thing you spoke about, mentor. Well, my way of going about it is that if you want to get experience, go out, find people who have a dispute, take that dispute to someone who you know has experience, and say, look, these are people I know, and I want you to become a co-mediator in this. Become co-mediator, because you will bring in your experience. You will coordinate with the parties at a certain level. You'll bring in the senior mediator for certain other things, wherever a sounding board or some kind of a comfort that the parties need. We don't want to call them parties now, we want to call them participants, because parties also comes from the court system, that terminology. So we don't want to create this adversarial thing there also. So those people you take with them, and then you are part of the process. You're not a spectator, because you have value to add to it. Even though you might say someone is experienced, experience comes from a lot of other things in your life, not from just thinking that, oh, I did these mediation. This is where the colonization concept of that training and everything that's sold to you, all these mock mediations and everything to you do, at the end of the day, person who actually has the ability sometimes loses confidence in themselves. They think, oh, this is some technical process, I have to go, I talk like this, I have to do that, and that natural ability that they have, they lose that. So I am saying you have a natural ability. There are enough disputes out there which need to be resolved. Tell people that the credibility of a senior person will be beneficial to you. Look, we will take this person as also a mediator, and you can say, okay, that person has this fee. You could say, to promote the concept, look, you can pay me what you feel based on the value I've added and settlement that you have. And I'm saying that settlement is not what we are trying to put in people's mind. Yeah.
Sorry, somebody cut you off. Somebody cut you off. Somebody was speaking loudly. I didn't hear your last point.
Last point, I'm saying that, look, I don't know which point I got cut off, but I'm just saying that the value that you bring in as a person is going to add to that whole process. So don't try to say that, oh, I will be, like I said, you be a spectator to the process, be part of it, take that to a senior, be part of as a co-mediator, and the process is what people need to use, and show them the good process, not I want to put a gun on your head and you should settle. No, not that kind of process. A good process, bring them together, which I used one symposium I did on heart, soul, spirituality and mediation. There are much larger concept of mediation that we have to put. So all that, if you put that together, there will be work for you, there will be work for the senior, people will see a nicer part of mediation. So that's the way I feel. I mean, this is my point of view. I'm not saying that people have to follow it, but after looking at the way mediation is going, this is what I found was a model which we can use.
Vikram, I must say, in as much as it is still the colonial system, it's still within the judiciary system. There is also, it has brought about public confidence. Now the public is aware that there's mediation, in as much as they have seen it somewhere, you see. So when I come as a mediator, which many people, in fact, most of the conferences I go to, they ask me what is mediation, and I have to keep educating people everywhere. What is mediation, what are its benefits, the binding nature of it. And they keep telling me, yeah, I saw it. It's the one the judiciary is promoting. So that in itself, once the public has seen there's something about mediation, in as much as it does not necessarily mean we will follow the procedure of the court, it will not necessarily mean that it will be the court annexed. But the next time you want to address an issue, you remember there is a mediator and the court has approved this thing, meaning it has a legal backing. You see, that legal backing element is the one people have an issue with. On the, you understand the legal backing.
No, let me tell you what the issue with that is, Loise. What is happening because of that is people are connecting it to the judiciary, because of which they're connecting it to lawyers. Mediation is not a process where lawyers are required. That's the best part about mediation. It is not about your legal rights. It is about a totally different concept of sitting together and resolving a dispute. So what you're going to create is, you're going to create, first of all, lawyers will move into it as mediators. That is the mindset, that colonial mindset, and the connection with the judiciary will do. What you will create is a class distinction. The people on the ground who are actually doing that mediation in the traditional system, and people in some way are connected to that, you will say, no, these people are not mediators. These people who come from the connection with the judiciary or have done this training or this certification, these are mediation. So what is going to happen, and which happens in all colonized systems, are what people are the ones you go to. These people are inferior. That's what the colonizers did in whatever way, to create a class distinction. My person is the one you go to, my lawyer, my court. So this is which will happen as you go along, which is the worst thing that's going to happen. Because if you see the numbers, I mean, you look at disputes which happen, and let's always look at it from a village perspective.
Yes.
What is really happening there? First of all, do they even want to be connected to a lawyer? Once a lawyer comes in, what is that mindset that the lawyer comes in? How does that lawyer treat the dispute? How does it treat now this parties? Makes people who are participants into parties, creates that system adversarial, because like you said, that's where the fees comes from. Why would the person want you to sit and would resolve it? This is going to be pension for a number of years for that lawyer. So what you've done is you push them into that process. You started that process by them going to a lawyer and then saying judiciary is talking about mediation, so you talk about mediation. That the person puts them off. I have heard of situations where a senior lawyer has told a junior in the court system that you go into the mediation and disrupt the mediation. Don't let them settle. That's how you are going to create a totally different concept. And I'm saying from experience, you are looking at it from how this is very nice. In India, it's the first mediation center was opened in 2005, right? Today, you can understand we're 17 years. Mediation is nowhere. It's only connected to the courts. You ask people, oh, I mean, in so many years, people would have experienced it. No one goes out and gives them good experience of it. So it is a world that is created. In that world, everyone will say, oh, in this world, yes, people are using mediation and everything. What they're going back is a developing mediation on the ground. Legislation support from the constitution, all those things are required. Simple legislation. A person sitting in a village can understand the law, doesn't need to go to a lawyer to understand that law,
Yeah.
gives them total flexibility. It is their process. They appoint the mediator, flexible process. What you need to protect is confidentiality, with being process being without prejudice, that limitation period if they start mediation, if they should not go to court, they should not have to rush to court. Those are the things. Mediator not called into the court as a witness. Those are things that you need to protect. That find a settlement agreement they get into should be as good as a court decree. They should not need to even go to the court to get it endorsed. So that's how simple you have to make it. It's going to be, again, Kenya will go through the same process for the next 17 years and still nothing will come out of it. That's my, again, my view looking at situations around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, another aspect of colonization I find uh, when we do a mediation agreement, or when I'm talking to people about mediation, their first question is usually, is it legally binding? And then I question, I really ask them, you know, before all this education, our forefathers used to live in a setup, and there was nothing written. It is just the agreement that you will respect what you have agreed on the table. And they go like, no, how are we going to trust that the other party will not do if it is not stamped by the court or by a lawyer? So that is a colonized mindset. So we need to remove it, that it has to be a legally binding, you know, it has to be in writing, it has to be backed by enforcement, you know, the enforcement aspect of the agreement in mediation. Yeah. So,
no, Loise, that's what I was telling you, that the law has to be simple enough that that settlement agreement is as good as a court decree, but you don't need to go to court. So what you need to do is go to my website, go to the mediation section. Today, India has the best law on mediation, which in this country, people say we don't have a law on mediation. This is where I keep fighting about. It's called conciliation for a certain reason, because that was the word used by UNCITRAL, and we took that model law and we incorporated it into our law. So if you just look at the conciliation section, don't get confused by people, because mediation, conciliation in that situation are the same. And if you read it on our website, the definition today available on mediation for us is in the Singapore Convention, because we have signed that convention. And that very nicely gives it very broad definition. Whatever name you give it to the process, however you do the process, as long as the mediator doesn't have the authority to impose a solution. That's how simple it is. So have a look at that law and take it up with your government and with your legislature, however we can do it, that this is how simple it is required to be. And it has enforceability as a court decree. This whole apprehension that people have is removed. It is, again, I'm telling you, lawyers in this country are confusing people by saying we don't have a law on mediation. So this will happen everywhere. They do not want you to go into mediation or people settling. So don't fall for this trap on that legislation where it says conciliation. Conciliation is mediation, and like I told you, you'll find the support in that definition. But have a look at it. Tell people that this can be done today. If your law doesn't have it, how it can be passed if people understand how simple it can be. But otherwise, like you said, contracts are still entered into by people. Don't they get into contracts on a daily basis or in their businesses or everything? Are you tomorrow going to not get into a contract, but is it not enforceable in court? If that is your whole criteria of enforceability, every contract is. I don't know what your law says. India's law says that even a verbal contract is a contract.
Possible. Yeah.
So this whole thing, this confusion is, you're just looking at it maybe starting off the whole awareness of mediation. This is the confusion which is being created around the world around mediation, and this will go on happening up till lawyers don't start controlling it. And when lawyers start controlling it, they will tell everyone you should do mediation, it's very good and all. So that's the direction it will go. It won't help mediators and mediation, it will help them.
Yeah. But what I came to love about mediation is that it has no limits. In fact, I took mediation with some area chiefs, some elders, and I was really happy. They had just come to get the skill, not the skill. They have the skill, but to just sharpen it, to be empowered a bit. So they were not really educated class-wise, but now they had been sponsored into the program. And I thought it was a very good thing, because now this shows it's not for specific people. It's not for lawyers. It's not for arbitrators. It's for everyone, anyone who wants just an empowerment, just like the way you do your trainings, just that empowerment, that skill, that extra skill that I was not aware of. Now I can incorporate it into my practice. So in our trainings, it incorporated everyone, which I was really happy. But now when those guys go to the village, like the village elders, the ones who I took trainings with, I kept in touch with them, and they say now they feel more confident, they feel that maybe they were lacking a particular, they did not know it could be handled that way, but now at least now they are more empowered. Yeah.
Yeah, but what you might also need to do is that in the village, you can ask people that who are those people that you go to for resolving disputes and on an amicable basis, because what you'll find is there are two categories of people. One is those people who are the chiefs or who head of the villages. That's one category of people, but they might not be the people with the mediator mindset. They might be the people who want to impose solutions, but in that same village, you will find that people will tell you, be it families, be it otherwise, they will be able to identify those people. So to develop those people and take them along is what we need to do. Because first thing is that the people should have that trust and confidence in the person. That's the whole concept of mediation. Otherwise, it won't go forward. So
And
ask them.
religious leaders as well.
Yeah, anyone. I'm saying anyone. The point is for this mediation, good thing is we don't have to fall for this whole concept that this is someone in authority. That's the best part, because the person is not imposing anything on you. It's just the person facilitating a amicable, collaborative approach. So we have a whole, you'll find a whole, maybe a different set of people. I'm not saying that the chiefs or the religious heads, they also might have the mediator mindset. But the main thing is, whom do the people look at as someone who can actually not impose a solution, but still help them through the process. So that's something only people can tell you. So do that exercise. Any village that you go to, just ask them this way, because what happens is, because entry into that village system is through those heads, and definitely you have to talk to them and they want to know about it. But they'll still listen to it. It's like going to a court and telling a judge, you do mediation, and the judge is going to obviously they'll say, no, we pass decisions, that's what we do. But but what will happen? Okay, let me tell you another flip side of what's happening. These judges, they retire like in India, they start becoming mediators and arbitrators. They'll do anything. So what is happening is that people will take mediation as again a person of authority sitting there, because like you'll say, oh, judges are doing it, so there is some sanction to it, there's something, that endorsement of it. Again, it'll be a different concept of mediation which will go there, connected to an authority figure. So those things will also happen. And look, this is not going to be the same. You'll go that, like they say, history repeats itself, or we have to look at history. The same what is happening in other parts of the world. You're going to go through the entire process. Only thing is, the early that you can intervene, the better it is. Otherwise, we'll be sitting again like this, Loise, after 17 years, and you'll be telling me, I'm not being able to practice as a full-time mediator. Mediation is not developing, but people know about mediation. How is it going to be something which is useful to us? So I'm saying, let's learn from people experiences which is happening otherwise. And look, we can't stop the courts from opening these centers, because it is easing their work. It is for their convenience. They're the most inefficient institution in the country, in every country, because otherwise, why would a person be sent to jail? The jail itself is a colonizer's setup. I mean, this is someone who's innocent. Up till the trial is happening, that we send people to jail. What business do you have to send them to jail? Decide the matter before that. Why should you, like I keep saying, why should the person be behind bars even for 1 hour? He's innocent. Are you all, you already in a way convicted the person by giving people this concept? No innocent person should be convicted. Even some guilt, lots of guilty people go free. They try to portray that, but actually put people behind bars. Even for 1 hour is too much. Lois's freedom, if I take for 1 hour, imagine what will happen to you and what, how you society looks at you. So that whole, we have to, of course, in the decolonization process, look at those structures also, because obviously still you're a country which has not been free for too long. So the colonizer mindset is going to continue, which again, how soon we can stop it is what will be beneficial to the people. But can you stop it? Can you take away what the judiciary has created for itself in the colonizer system, which you have continued, laws you've continued, that jail system you've continued? So the traditional methods have to be looked at for a lot of things. The way dispute resolution happens and communities handle it. So a lot of it has to be, there was an example in the last symposium I told you last year. James Mangareri is doing a lot of work in Kenya, and he was talking about this example he gave. I don't know whether you heard that session. You can also have a look at that symposium. Again, on the website, there's all the speakers are listed there. So James Mangareri session you can hear. So he was talking about some murder which...
No, he's the one who trained me, in fact.
Exactly. So you listen to him. So he was giving an example how there was a murder in a community, and the community settled it within themselves. Some 15 camels were to be given to the other side, and that matter finished. Obviously, if it's a murder, the police comes in, the penal code comes in. So they wanted to file a case to it. Community, there was no complainant, there was no witness, nothing. They took it to court. The judge understood that this is how the community would have settled it, because obviously community settle things. Send the police there, find out what they have settled, and passed an order on that basis. There was a major controversy in the country. As I'm repeating what James told us. You can correct me wherever I'm wrong. So there was major controversy on it, and that is where the constitution and support from the constitution came. So that is the way we have to go forward. And look, you're very lucky. Kenya endorses this whole method. Countries have to reach this level in the decolonization process. At least you've gone far ahead of other countries. But if you are going to, in that now again bring a colonizer's method into it, the whole thing gets derailed. So you have a very good thing going. Those are the examples we need to go give, and this whole derailing of that won't be a good thing. Because what James Mangareri does, he sensitizes communities, wants women to come into the picture, because he says there was no acceptance of women even sitting in mediations. Forget them being mediators. So he's sensitizing communities. And which I keep saying that finally those people in authority who are keeping, let's say, women away from it or as mediators, they should understand that they will become irrelevant. People will move away from them. Their authority will be diminished. Again, people will go to the colonizer structure. So that's the kind of sensitization we need to do.
I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, because in so many communities, as a woman, you cannot just go. If it is to those elders, there's a way you approach them. There's a way you approach them, and you let them first decide whether you will address them or not. So that is also some sensitization to put into. And if you're coming as a mediator, you have to be bound by that community's rule. So you have to wait and see how they will decide. If it is okay for you to address them, they will give you the authority. But they are very understanding people, I must say. They are eager to listen to you. If you just use the respectful means, don't go imposing, but just go as an educator, somebody who has come to support the community. If you approach it from that angle, then they're really welcoming. But if you go as, like you said, a lawyer, how they handle disputes, already the community, there's a way it looks at you.
I think Loise, also what needs to be done is, I think people need to give examples of other communities in Kenya who have successfully done it, because that will be easier for them to relate to also, because definitely communities are understanding the whole thing and they're creating that atmosphere. So I think these people should be talking to maybe videos. I don't know, you're saying you make videos. So videos from those villages where it's successfully done, of
mm,
the people who have benefited. Because finally, look, what we need to put out is the user experience. So
yes,
people will talk about it in their community, how they have been able to use mediation, and they talk about the mediator. They let them talk about the process. What happens is that we keep talking about the process to people.
mm,
So it's still a practitioner talking about something that they do. So in a way, you're selling your concept or your service. Let it be
mm,
the people talking about their experiences. Could be small clips, because
mm,
these days people have less retention bar. They don't want to watch long videos like mine, 1 hour,
mm,
2 hours videos. They don't want to watch that. They want small clips. So small
yeah,
clips from the village that someone says, look, I had this dispute, and
mm,
talks about the dispute and how we got this person, and names. Not just, it's not a theoretical concept, it's names. There are people. We got Loise into the mediation. We asked her to do it, and then we successfully resolved it. So the other side also talks about it, because let me tell you, people who benefit from mediation, they love talking about it if you've given them
yeah,
the right experience. So
they
they will
do.
talk about it. So that is where then the thing gets promoted. So those are the kind of things we need to do now, which is what my focus, that World Mediation Circle and the circles that I'm talking about, that's my
Yeah.
focus now, that this is what we need to do. So
Mm,
that's how I look at it. But Lois, now you know that there is a lot of viewing that you need to do. James Mangareri's session from the last symposium. Then you
mhm,
have Faith and Grace from Kikuyu tribe. Then you have
yes,
Dorina from the Sengwer and Pokot tribe communities. So at
mhm,
least these four you have to watch, and then you
yeah,
have to give me your feedback.
I will, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. But all said and done, we still need to do so much on mediation. It's a good thing. It's something that I believe in. And I think that's my purpose, really. Once I discovered it, it's something that I would have put all my effort into. But maybe just what I've noticed that the organizations that are offering the mediation programs, they tend to rely more on income. You sign in and they get something, as opposed to really giving you mentorship or whatever you need to do, growing you as a mediator. So in the future, I would want to set up a program where I work with the people. They
Yeah.
see what I am doing, so that through that, I know there's so many mediators in Kenya, but now the use of the paper is a problem. There's so many people who will want to do what you're doing, what I'm doing, but now how to is the problem, and how to start with mentorship. Once you work with me, once they work with you, they see what you're doing, they will believe it, and it will keep spreading like that. So
Mm.
just the awareness aspect, and I think even mediators circle and all, they need to give a program, to provide maybe a program where they can mentor uh, young mediators who are starting,
Well,
or maybe,
yeah.
yeah,
Please, I cut you off. You're saying something. Yeah. Young mediators are starting.
who, yeah, young mediators who are starting, or people who would like to maybe even volunteer and become co-mediators, just an exposure for them. Because I feel that since the society has not embraced it, then there's nowhere to practice, meaning the possibilities of a place for practice is limited. If I'm going to work with somebody, not many people, I will not. But if they find organizations such as yours and every other organization which opens arms to train them and maybe give them exposure and work with them, then they will be able to benefit, and it will spread. The word will spread.
But how I'm going about it is that we
Mhm,
will go into schools and communities and families and ask them, like I told you, ask them who are those people who help you and other people to resolve their disputes. That's all we'll do. And second category of people who
mhm,
bring people together. So the
mhm,
peacemaker and the mediator. You will read about it in that World Mediation Circle that I have on the website. So we
yeah,
have two categories of people. We ask them, just ask the people. Now it comes to them being able to understand that this is actually something that they can practice as a livelihood. They are
mhm,
going to, of course, today they do it because they enjoy doing it. So they're not really asking people for any money out of it, but that is the livelihood they have to create, because we need these people on a full-time basis. When it comes to skill development, I'll put together a whole separately. This will not be, I don't want to put it up on YouTube, because I've understood that what comes for free, people don't value. So it won't be, I mean, my way of going about it is going to be, for some time, is going to be send me a gift kind of thing, but give them access to a whole thing which is structured by the best in the world, who will tell them about mediation and everything. So I'm creating that, so that at least this whole thing of that's huge amounts that people are asking for certifications, and sometimes misleading people that, oh, you will become a mediator. Nothing, no work is created, no, the way the mediation should have been promoted, that doesn't happen, and people get disillusioned and they go out and they pay huge amounts of money. Yeah, you were saying something. Yeah, Luis.
No, I'm just saying, excuse me for a minute, for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes, I think.
I'll put up my website till then. So basically, the real mediation circle, you can read about that here.
Sorry about that.
No issue. What I did was I put up my website and the World Mediation Circle part of it, which at some stage I will feel that I would want that Luis will also read, which will be difficult. There is, she has lots of things to do, but please read about it, because I've tried to put a structure there where we can get people into it. So, which you are also going to work on with me. What you are
Yes.
doing on your own, definitely you'll keep doing. But if you want to be part of a larger whole, please be part of it, and we should take it forward. So
No, I
that's
would
how
love
it is.
to. I would love to.
So, Luis, some kind of do you want to give a concluding remark? Anything? I mean, look, time is not a factor, but if anything else that you want to put across, concluding or otherwise, please.
Okay. I would like to really thank you, Vikram, for organizing this. It's not a small thing. I know you have worked hard to put this in place, and you're doing a good thing. So congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. And for everyone in Kenya, I would like you to embrace mediation. It is a good thing. You do not necessarily have to go to court to be given court annexed mediation. No, no, no. There are mediators who are there, who are on the ground, who are willing to help you resolve the matter out of court. And for me, I started law mediators and consultants, and it is growing. It is a good thing. At least we are getting recognition here and there. At least I'm able to handle cases here and there. So it's a good thing. So let's keep promoting mediation. Only you can do that. We can talk and talk, but you have when you come to embrace it, you notice the good thing. And when you get to experience mediation, you also tell somebody else, and people get to know that through sharing, through reference, through, yeah, if a good thing happens to me, I love to tell the whole world. If I believe in something, the whole world will believe in it. So that's the person I am. And I thank God for that. So I'm just praying that we will continue meeting in sessions such as this with Vikram. Continue what you're doing. It's a good thing.
So,
God
Luis, first
bless
of all,
you.
yeah, thank you very much. Of course, wonderful to talk to you. Please attend the closing session on the 30th. at
Mhm.
8:30 India time. And let's tell people that please value mediators. They are important. They are doing a good thing. They're helping you resolve something,
Mhm.
helping you stay away from a process that if you get into that, a lot of time goes into that and cost. They're helping you save all that. Please value them. Please pay them
Mhm.
well. They
Yeah.
are people whom you need to have in your communities, in your families, everywhere. So thank you very much, Luis, and hope to see you soon. Of course, 30th, I'll see you. Please
Yeah.
drop into other sessions if you want to, totally your wish. So thank you.
You have my email. You can send me anytime.
Absolutely. I'm going to get you involved. Yes, definitely. So
Yes.
thanks a lot.
Thank